Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Monday, October 5th, and we're going to do another daily market recap. In today's video, we're going to cover some news and events. First, we'll talk about a stimulus update. We'll talk about Trump's condition, and we'll also talk about Fed Chair Powell speaking tomorrow and the debate on Wednesday. So jumping in right into it here. So before we do jump into the charts, please make sure to like the video if you enjoyed the content today and subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified on any updates that get released in the future. So as you can see, Pelosi and Mnuchin spoke today for briefly about an hour, and they didn't yield a deal once again. And I think that, again, I highlighted this in my videos before, but I think they're just trying to manipulate the market. It's very choppy right now. So literally the market is just waiting for a new headline to react on. And we saw that Trump went into the hospital on Friday and the market closed weaker, and then we went up on hopes of stimulus today, and then stimulus fell through, and then all of a sudden Trump gets released from the hospital. So it's, as soon as we get bad news, it's like they're artificially inflating the market and trying to keep the market up, and likely just trying to stall it as long as they can until a bill is reached and they reach a deal. But certainly getting to be very, very choppy and frustrating. If you haven't been trading for a long time, it can definitely be frustrating. So just need to learn to stick to your game plan and don't get thrown off guard. But as you can see, Trump's been discharged from the hospital and may not be entirely out of the woods yet, but he says he's feeling very good. He also said that we shouldn't be afraid of the sickness, which he's basically undermining and downplaying all of the scientists and the global issue that we have on our hands. And the fact is, we have over 200,000 people in the US that have been infected and have passed away. So it's definitely interesting to see his perspective on everything, and we'll see how everything develops over the next couple of days. But I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see his condition worsen. And we saw that his press secretary also tested positive for the sickness, and she was tested multiple times. I think she was tested on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it all came back negative until today. She actually got tested and it came back positive. So we could see more in the circle start to test positive as well. We saw that the CDC revised their coronavirus guidance to acknowledge that it spreads through airborne transmission. So a lot of previous data conflicting against that, but that has been confirmed. And like I said, we have the Powell speech tomorrow. So I'll be speaking around 10:30 Eastern, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, and he's expected to talk on the economic outlook at the National Association of Business Economics. So we'll see if there's any more reaction around that time in the markets. Like I said, we've basically just been waiting on the next headline to give us the direction going forward. And then we also have the debate, like I said, with Kamala Harris and Mike Pence on Wednesday. So that one's going to be extremely interesting as well, and that will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. So taking a look at the indices. So first, we'll highlight SPY. So you can see, as the title of the video suggests, we have some of the lowest volume in months that we've seen. So we are trending higher. We did change the daily trends. You can see here we had a low, a high, higher low, and higher high today. Very bullish close, but one thing we are lacking is volume. So that tells me that we aren't seeing that hype and euphoria on the way up and confidence in the bulls that we normally see, that we saw since the March lows. So definitely notable that we had such low volume today. As we know, it doesn't take much volume to make SPY go up, but now we have QQQ and SPY in daily uptrends. We also have, taking a look at XLV, didn't quite change the daily trend yet. So it did form a higher low, and we have resistance at 106.40. We hit a high of 106.41. So that's essentially a double top. Failed to change the daily trend. So we want to see all these sectors, XLF in a daily uptrend, XLE not in a daily uptrend, XBI in a daily uptrend with a huge green day. Taking a look at gold. So gold We'd like to see a little bit more follow through to confirm that daily uptrend. If we look at silver, could be a little bit stronger. You can see we are starting to reject here at EMA 12 resistance, but we're going to want to see daily trend changes on all major indices to be confident that this move is for real. And like I said, we're lacking volume. We didn't even hit the 20-period moving average. And QQQ, very, very low volume today as well. Bullish candle, closed near the high of the day. Like I said, haven't set that higher high. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. And as you can see, DXY is still a potential daily bear flag. And it looks like it's trying to follow through. But we'll keep an eye on DXY into this evening. There is no daily support until 92.75. So lots of room to form a daily high or low. But right now we're technically in a daily downtrend, because you can see I'd like to see a little bit more than that of a bounce than that, but you could technically call that a daily downtrend with a lower high and lower low. And definitely seems like bulls are in full control right now. Like I said, the only thing lacking is the volume, but we did pierce that daily support trend line on DXY as well. So certainly another point in favor of the equity bulls. And one level on QQQ that I'm going to be watching going into tomorrow is this level right here that we've been rejecting at for quite some time. You can see we haven't really closed above it. We did briefly here on October 1st, and since then we have yet to close above it. So I'd like to see us close a candle above this line right here. So if we can get above the 280, the 281, I'd like to see us close above 281, or even close around 283. We can start to see a lot more upside potential. But right now, like I said, certainly seeing some confluence in that level. And SPY will be watching the 343. If we can close above 343, then I will start to shift more bullish. But right now, definitely seems like we're lacking volume, seems like we're lacking buying pressure, and this just doesn't have the same feel. Like I said, if we take a look at Apple again, they're pinning it around the 116, Tesla 425. So again, to start the day, Tesla was ramping. And then if we take a look at Apple to begin the day, Apple is a little bit lower, and then funds sort of transitioned away from from Tesla into Apple. So like I said, I think they're just playing a game of musical chairs. They ramped Tesla up in the morning and then slow fade. Apple was opening lower and then slow grind up. So again, it just seems like they are bouncing around these different names and these different mega cap companies in the tech industry, and they're trying to just keep them pinned around the 420 or the 116 level on Apple. And again, I think that has to do with them trying to pin it below the post-split price and just prevent people from being able to sell. And you can see we had a lot of sell volume into the end of the day on Tesla. We also had a lot of sell volume on SPY into the end of the day, but closed near the high of the day, so likely just profit taking going into tomorrow with the Fed speaking tomorrow as well. Could just be locking in some profits before that speech that Fed Chair Powell will be talking about tomorrow. So that's pretty much all I wanted to highlight on the indices. I did want to bring up oil. So oil did have a 4-hour trend change. So our daily higher low has been set on oil, and it's just been all bulls all day. We did have a mini higher low here, but absolutely full steam ahead for the bulls, and we are going to be approaching this downward resistance line. So like I said, if we can get above the $40 mark, I'll be very, very bullish again on US oil. But at the moment, the metals, gold approaching its daily resistance line here for the descending triangle pattern that we've been watching. So like to see us break above that and close above and potentially back test, form a higher low and higher high. That will let us know whether or not we can negate that pattern. But as of right now, pattern's still intact, and we'll look to see how the bulls can break or continue in this pattern if bears decide to show up in overnight trading tonight. So taking a look at some individual, we did take a look at a few individual tickers. There wasn't really much I wanted to highlight other than that rotation that I saw out of big tech companies. We still have weekly bear flags on watch for Apple, Google, and Facebook. We also have weekly head and shoulder potential still on Amazon and Microsoft. So definitely low volume, some of the lowest volume we've seen in a couple of months. And I would like to see some more daily trend changes on our major indices. So if we can get the rest of the indices to follow suit and set that new higher high and get follow through, then we can be confident that this move is for real. But certainly skeptical in my opinion, remaining skeptical, remaining cautious. And like I said, I would like to see as much daily trend changes in the markets, in the broader market as possible. And we'll certainly be watching the Fed meeting tomorrow and any other news headlines that develop between now and then. So check back in tomorrow for another daily market recap. It's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next update.